Hey, what's up guys? Big Shanty here, and it's Thursday. I'm filming this on Thursday anyway. This is going to come out for Monday because it's mainly Mondays. But anyways, it's Taco Thursday in our household, and I am prepping my world famous salsa. It's not really world famous. I like to say it's world famous because it's really good. But anyways, this is my favorite salsa recipe. Figured I'd bring you guys on for the ride. Give you a nice little weird perspective of me on a cutting board, what have you. But anyways, if you enjoy salsa, particularly if you like hot salsa, this is a fantastic recipe. So let me set you guys down and then I'll dive in and talk about the ingredients I've got. So let's set you down there, get the thing in the right place. Beautiful. All right, perfect. So we've got all the things here. Don't worry, this is not for salsa. This is for me to eat because I'm hungry. Lovely pluot. So, I've got all my ingredients here. I've got some cilantro off camera, you can't really see. Some peppers, salt, some garlic we'll work with, a white onion. White onion is very important. A lot of people like to use purple onion, I like white onion. Lime juice. If my limes here don't give me enough juice, I've got some tomatoes I'm gonna dice up, show you a trick with those if you like to use fresh tomatoes. And then I've got some green chilies and some canned diced tomatoes if these guys don't work. So anyways, let's get started. Let me find a knife real quick. A knife would have been handy to have. All right, so well, I guess I shouldn't talk with my mouth full, that's kind of rude. One of the first things I like to do is go ahead and get the tomatoes squared away. I'm not a big fan of tomatoes, so the earlier I can kind of cut them up, the better. Now, the trick with the tomato, if you've ever had salsa with a lot of tomato seeds in it, it's very bitter. Very, very, very bitter. Tomato seeds just are not good. Tomatoes in general just aren't good. They're freaking disgusting, but they make good salsa. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut sort of the edges off of this tomato to avoid the seeds as best I can, dice it up a little bit, put it in my blender. If it's enough tomato, then I'll leave it alone, but I might have to use some of the canned tomatoes. So let's go in. All right, so this piece kind of sucks because this is a fair amount of tomato. You could get in here and cut that shit out, or cut that crap out if you wanted to, but I don't really care. So I'm gonna toss these guys. This guy got a lot of seeds, that's fine. I'm just gonna scoop them out and then cut the rest of the tomatoes up and we'll do that. Now, one thing that I'll say, not a lot of people like salsa. Well, let me take that back. It's kind of personal preference. Some people like their skins on their tomatoes in their salsa, some don't. Kind of depends on what texture you're looking for. Because I don't think this is gonna be enough tomato for the base, we'll see. I'm gonna leave the skins on. I think it gives it like a little bit of a rusticy texture, makes it taste a little more homemade, but that's just me. So I got it a little thin. There we go. Now we're cooking. All right, so again, doing the same thing. I'm just kind of coming down along the edge of the tomato here, avoiding the seeds sort of at all costs. And then I'll cut along the bottom some to get some of that flesh back. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. You don't really even have to dice this up if you're putting it in a blender because, you know, that's kind of the blender's job. So don't do the job of the machine you're paying for, right? You know, yeah, that's always a good practice. So here we go, last one. Ooh, getting real thin on this boy. Yeah, so, you know, and like I said earlier, this is gonna be a real hot recipe. Obviously, once it gets to the hot stage, you can swap out the peppers for anything. Hell, you don't even have to use peppers if you really don't want to. I like particularly spicy stuff. You know, I'll get in competitions with family members about who can down the hottest stuff. So, all right, that's good. Let's take the hands off because tomatoes are disgusting. Put these guys in here. God, even the smell. You know, I'm surprised I like salsa so much because, ooh, tomatoes. You know, it's a funny story. I tell a story, people, and they don't believe me. And my sister even doesn't believe me that this happened. The reason I hate tomatoes is when we were younger, back when Pizza Hut, maybe you guys, you older millennials and Gen Zs and baby boomers might remember this, but back when Pizza Hut used to have a salad bar, Yeah, it sounds gross just thinking about it. They had the little grape tomatoes, you know, the little, you looked! Okay. All right, anyways. They had the little grape tomatoes, and my sister, I was very gullible as a kid, my sister told me to stick a straw in one and suck the juices out, and it'd be like the best thing I ever tasted. So I believed her, and I've hated tomatoes ever since, and I haven't trusted my sister ever since. So sorry, Christy, if you're seeing this. You ruined tomatoes for me. All right, so we got that cut up. That's actually not too bad. There's a fair amount in there. I gotta say, that's not that bad. So yeah, I might leave the canned tomatoes out for a bit. We'll see what it looks like towards the end. So next, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna chop up my onion, put my onion in there. I don't use a whole lot of onion, so I'm okay being a little wasteful when it comes to getting the skin and the cap and the root ball off. You know, just use what you gotta use. This is stuff I'm not gonna eat. You know, I'm thinking about starting a garden. I would eventually put this kind of stuff in the compost, but right now I don't have a use for it. So I'm just gonna pull these little inner pieces here off, and again, we'll chop this stuff up here in a second just to give myself some room to work with here. So let's see what we can do. So these chilies, I particularly like Old El Paso green chilies. If you don't want to chop up your own tomatoes, this one right here, this Rotel diced tomatoes with cilantro and lime juice is the best one to use. Okay, this one's really good. I don't think I'm going to use it. I might use some of it. We'll see. But I'm definitely going to use these green chilies because I think it needs a little green. It needs a little color. Right now it's a little. Looks like somebody mashed up some strawberries, which I'm looking for. All right, so we got that in there. There we go. Now we're looking like a salsa. So I'm gonna set this onion aside for now because I don't know that I necessarily need it, and I'm gonna get some garlic to put in there. So I like garlic. Not gonna lie, garlic is good stuff. So I'm gonna put a handful. I've got 4. Let's put 5 of these bad boys in there. Trick to getting garlic out of the shell. If you've never seen that before, just take the garlic, put it down on a flat surface, take your palm on top of the knife, put the knife on top of the garlic, and just push until you hear it crunch. All right? Doesn't make the prettiest garlic in the world, but it's gonna make getting the shell off real easy. All right, so we got that out. Now we'll just kind of peel everything off. This is some older garlic, so I want to make sure it still looks good before I throw it in there, which it does. This one I'm worried about. Let's see what you look like in here, buddy. Let's see what you look like. Come out of there. Come out of your shell. That one's not bad. Man, my hands are all sticky. All right, so this is good. This garlic turned out pretty well. It felt a little old, but so far, not bad. Good. Good stuff. Love it when a plan comes together. Yeah, perfect. All right, so all that's there. Let's get rid of the garlic shells or garlic paper. I don't know, whatever you call that stuff. Who knows? All right, so we got that in there. Now comes the hot part. So put this here so you can see it. All right, so I've got tomato, onion, green chilies in here, garlic. Haven't added any seasoning or anything yet. Just the base stuff is in there. Now, what I've got here, I got a couple different peppers. These are salsa peppers. They're homegrown. They are super hot. In fact, I personally think they're hotter than these serranos. I don't know if they cross-pollinated or whatever, but whew, these guys are freaking hot. So I'm only gonna put 1 of each in here. If you wanted to be crazy, you could totally put more. Now, a lot of people don't like to put pepper seeds in their salsa. Pepper seeds don't bother me. All right, really, it's just, to me, tomato seeds that are bitter. I actually kind of like getting the pepper seed in here because sometimes you get like a not so hot flavor, right? And then sometimes you get that hit where you've got a seed in there and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. That's what I like. All right, so now I'm gonna get a lemon to cut some of that heat and give it a little citrusy flavor. For those of you guys that like to play with salsa recipes at home, if your sauce is too spicy and you don't know how to fix it, right? You don't know the ingredients that are gonna counteract it. Citrus, right? Citrus counteracts that heat. So the more lime, the more lemon, the more orange you put in your salsa, the less heat there's gonna be. The more pepper, right, the hotter it's gonna be. So it's a fine balance between citrusy and heat. So I like to use 1 to 2 limes, depending on how hot I'm looking to get. We're gonna see what this looks like right now, actually. Let's chop her up. Oh, looking beautiful, man. All right. Smells very tomatoey right now. So, because it's a little overpowered with the tomato side, I'm gonna dump some black pepper in there. And I like to put, this is probably about a tablespoon. Yeah, that's probably, or I'm sorry, not a tablespoon. Holy hell, it's about a teaspoon, maybe teaspoon and a half. And then I'll do the same thing with salt. I'll add about a teaspoon of salt at this point. All right, so now got most of my primary ingredients. I'm actually gonna go ahead and put this other lime in here. I can tell by the smell that it's not quite there. Squeeze that guy in there, get rid of him. Squeeze that guy in there, get rid of him. Good to go. Good to go, freaking pumped. All right, so let's get this stuff blended in. Now, one thing I'll say, I like my salsa pretty thin. I don't like any chunks in it, never have, probably never freaking will. I hate chunky salsa, but that's mostly because I hate tomatoes with a burning passion. So I like my salsa restaurant style, very thin, you know. And really, I mean, honest to God, you know, who doesn't actually like salsa like that? If you, let me guys know in the comments, man, do you like your salsa chunky or do you like it thin? I personally, I don't know that I've ever met anybody that likes it chunky. Maybe I just have a, you know, select group of friends. So all I'm doing here is just tearing off cilantro, trying not to get too much of the stem because that can make it a little bitter, a little hard to eat. Especially, you know, the stem doesn't blend up too well with this particular little ninja thing. And the stem itself just doesn't taste good. So just getting some of the cilantro leaves. You know, probably when all said and done, I probably put about half a cup in here, if I had to guess, of cilantro. It might be a third to a quarter a cup. I typically just do this by sight. So like I'm just picking leaves until I've got what I feel like is enough, which I look at this is probably more like a third of a cup. So yeah, I would do about a third of a cup and then kind of stop. All right, so you got it kind of leveled off up here. And then, what are you doing? Back in there. Dancing. There we go. Now we're looking and smelling like a salsa. So oh man, I can smell those peppers. This is gonna be some hot salsa. All right, now I'm not too in love with the smell just yet and the color. So I wanna throw some more cilantro in here. Probably do 1/8 of a cup maybe at this point. Yeah, I'm thinking about 1/8 of a cup is right. Basically just wanna get a layer of cilantro along the top. And then we'll give it a final blend here and then I'll test it. Now, another important thing to note here when you guys are making salsa, don't make your salsa to be served and eaten right away, all right? You know, this is something that some restaurants get right, some don't. Salsa should not be consumed as soon as it's blended, all right? Salsa's gotta cool. Everything's kind of got to mix together. All those flavors have to blend. The lime's got to cook up some of the pepper and the onion and the garlic, and the salt's got to react with the garlic. So you really got to let everything just kind of sit for a while. And I guarantee if you let this cool in the fridge, don't put it in the freezer, but if you let it cool in the fridge for, you know, an hour or so before you serve it, it's going to be delicious. All right, let's give her a taste, see what we think. pretty good texture. Not bad, not bad. Pretty darn hot. The tomato is super, the tomato's still pretty strong. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add some lime juice. Hopefully that might help counteract some of the tomato. And then I'm gonna add in, that's probably about an ounce of lime juice. I'm gonna add in some more salt. Another teaspoon of salt is gonna go in. And then I'm gonna add in probably another teaspoon of pepper. Let's blend that up, see what happens. All right, that looks better. Perfect. So there you have it, guys. My favorite salsa recipe. Like I said, this one particularly hot. All right, put a serrano and 1 salsa pepper in there. I've got enough to make another batch if I wanted to. If you don't want it that hot, all right, if you want it, you know, to be more of a sweet salsa, or maybe just have a little kick, you know. If I've got family members coming over that don't like heat, I'll put 1 jalapeno in there, maybe half a jalapeno. Keep the recipe the same otherwise. And then if you got like kids that are eating this, a lot of times I'll even leave the jalapeno out completely and it'll just be like a tomato-based salsa, which is okay. It's not great, but it works. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that. That's my favorite salsa recipe. I'll put the recipe in the description if you couldn't catch it following along, but it's very good. If you try it out, let me know what you think. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you like this video, smash that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and tickle the little notification bell if you want to be notified when I post a new video. Y'all have a fantastic day.